This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Without a healthy mind, being happy is hard. Visit betterhelp.com/allies and see if online therapy is for you.
Hello, and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'll be your moderator, Daniel Bloodworth. This week, I'm joined by Michael Huber.
Yo!
Michael Damiani.
Elden Ring.
And in the control room, Isla Hink.
Elden Ring. Put my tongue on the mic.
Yeah! That doesn't taste good.
No, it tastes like foam.
Distinguished guests, we are here to discuss some of the biggest headlines in this week's news. But before we do that, we must answer for all the mistakes we made in the last episode. Isla, begin corrections music, please.
Boop.
Atone for your sins, Bloodworth.
Go to the Chapel of Vows, Bloodworth.
Litten, the Fire Cat Pokemon, is the Sun and Moon starter, not Sword and Shield. Also, Pokemon Red and Blue each had 11 exclusive Pokemon, not 6 to 8 like Brad was saying.
Got it.
I mean, 11 is 6 to 8. Oh, no. Never mind. I thought you said 6 to 18. I was like, wait. Never mind.
Kirby's B move, after absorbing Joker in Smash Bros. Ultimate, is literally called Gun. So we were asking if Kirby would ever get a gun. And already has.
That's a deep cut. I like that.
Yeah. A couple fun little stories. Warren Spector did actually work a little bit on Thief, but it was still early in production before he moved on to Looking Glass. And then, interestingly enough, it was some of his frustrations with Thief that kind of led to Deus Ex, because he wanted to be able to sneak or to go, attack.
Sick.
And the other devs were like, no, you have to sneak. We want him to sneak.
Yeah.
It's like, I bet you can make a game that does either thing.
Yeah, tight.
And then we got a few talks on Z-targeting. Again, throw a timestamp in there when you correction, because somebody's like, Miyamoto didn't come up with Z-targeting. Like, I don't remember us saying that he did, but I didn't want to scrub through the whole thing again. But it was sort of, I don't know if like any one person can be credited with it. Yoshitaka Koizumi was on the team. That also included Toru Osawa and Jin Ikeda. And one of the cool things about it is they were inspired by ninjas. They went to a playhouse, watched this martial arts fight, and one of the ninjas used like this chain thing, and then was like circling, and that was kind of like the inspiration for the Z targeting.
So tight. I love hearing stuff like that.
Yeah, so they went there to try to figure out how we're gonna do combat in 3D, and so they just watched some ninjas at a playhouse, and that's where.
I love that it comes from an idea like that, like Sekiro, swords clashing. You know, you have this idea, and then you make a game. It's so cool.
Another point that people brought up is that Mega Man Legends, which came out roughly a year before Ocarina of Time released, also had a form of lock-on targeting.
Ooh.
Not exactly the same, but same idea.
Nice.
So it just kind of shows you everyone's kind of working in the same field, working in the same ballpark. Who knows if Mega Man Legends saw it in a demo and then is like, oh, we need that. Or, just brains all in the same vein.
Yeah.
If you have a correction, you can put that on either version of the YouTube videos, the Patreon version or the public version.
Stamp it, though.
Use the word correction, and it helps if you put a little timestamp in there so I know what you are correcting. And if you're like two versions, yes. If you are a patron, you get a specific version of this podcast that has extra love and respect questions and no ads and corrections music.
Boop.
All right. The big boy for this week. Yesterday we had State of Play, and it was 20 minutes, not a big, huge one, but there were quite a few game announcements in there. And they prefaced it before saying it would be mostly from Japanese developers. And there's a lot of Square Enix in there. There's some Capcom. There's some other folks. Before I run down the list and before we really dig in, and we're going to dig into Turtles for sure.
Yeah,
but
we
just overall thoughts.
Yeah, we are.
On yesterday's State of Play.
Overall thoughts?
Yeah.
It was good. It was really solid. Really, really solid. I like when they, this trend of telling us the time, like how long is it going to be? What's not going to be there? What's the focus going to be?
Yeah, people were saying no PSVR 2.
No PSVR 2 was known. And like, hey, focus on Japanese, but also a check-in maybe with some other studios. Like, perfect amount of information up front to have our expectations in check. And it had some check-ins with some games we're excited about, some surprise games, and that's all I ever hoped for in these, so I really liked it.
Yeah, it had a lot more games in it than I thought was going to be in there. I thought it was going to be maybe four, 5, 6 games at most, and they really had a lot more in there.
It was
and a lot of, like,
packed
not
20 minutes.
Not huge surprises, but just a good amount of games we just didn't know about, period, beforehand, which was really nice.
Yeah, and some of it was super quick because I do the timestamps afterwards, and it's like a minute or less on some of them. And like the Stranger Paradise, it was just like, hey, there's a new demo. Go play it. We don't need to tell you anything else. Just play the demo. Yeah, so
very cool.
Yeah, I was worried it was going to kind of stick on Ghostwire Tokyo and Stranger Paradise for a little bit too long.
Totally.
And those kind of moved pretty quickly through those. So as you said, so they made a lot of time for a lot of other stuff in there, which is really nice. Good pacing, basically, for it. Yeah.
So the full list, and then we'll dig into everything. But just to like give lip service to the full group here, there was Exoprimal, which we'll get into, new game. Ghostwire Tokyo, Stranger Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins. Forspoken had a little bit of time in there. Got to see some more gameplay there, and it also recently got delayed till later this year. Gundam Evolution. Which it's been out there, I think, but we didn't know much about. Or maybe I'm thinking a different one. I think Gundam Evolution was an announcement. TMNT, the Cowabunga collection, getting in there. Gigabash.
Gigabash looked cool.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. So that game, I think 2013 was when that originally came out, which is crazy to me. I thought it was more recent than that.
Whoa.
Trek to Yomi.
Yes.
This Returnal 3.0 update.
Yes.
Video Field Chronicle, and then Valkyrie Elysium.
Nice.
So the first big one I want to get into, Exoprimal. Dinosaurs pouring out of the sky, forecasted. What is going like through your mind? This is like, is this Dino Crisis? Like, what's happening?
I did not take the Dino Crisis bait, especially when they showed that red-haired woman.
Right.
Like, Capcom, what are you doing? Like, you know exactly what you were doing. That was cheeky. I feel like they knew exactly what they were doing there, having that red-haired lady in a Dino game. Like, to me, it confirms Dino Crisis is coming. Because that's what that does. It's like, hey.
Same universe, maybe?
Yeah, misdirect over, look at this Dino game that's not Dino Crisis.
Okay.
Oh, actually, Dino
Crisis is coming, Huber. It's going to be like a skin pack they're going to throw in there at some point. Like, hey, here's a Dino Crisis pack. I mean, yes, I know Capcom makes Monster Hunter, and that also has like dinosaurs in it. But how do you make I had the same reaction as everyone else. How do you make a game with guns and dinosaurs and you don't call it Dino Crisis? It's like, what? All right, Capcom.
Yeah, I was getting very like EDF plus Anthem vibes.
Yeah.
You sort of like mash those two things together. It's kind of nuts.
I think dinosaurs are just universally fun, and like killing dinos with your friends just sounds like a good time at a very basic level. So this is definitely one that I will give a look. And
have you heard the description of like what this gameplay is like?
It looked like 4-player wave-based chaos. That's just kind of
sort of
trailer.
And sort of not. So listen to this. This is the description. In the game's main mode, Dino Survival, teams fight for every breath against countless dinosaurs while racing to complete missions before rival squads.
Oh, yes.
In 5v5 matches.
That's right.
A dynamic mix of objectives keep players on their guard and ensures each match is different from the last.
So
I think it actually said form the last. There's a typo.
So it's like Gambit mode in Destiny, kind of, I guess. A little bit.
Exo fighters will need to stay on their toes as hunts transition into precious cargo deliveries or desperate last stands against relentless assaults. Opposing teams are even given opportunities to tackle adversaries head on and impede their progress.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like Gambit mode, honestly, from Destiny. It's a similar concept of like two teams are fighting the computer, and you can also like go and mess with the other team at certain points. So it's fun. I like that.
Gambit mode is fun, yeah.
Yeah, like PvPvE is fun. I really like that. And that makes sense because now this is definitely not stepping on any Dino Crisis toes, because Dino Crisis, single player, survival horror, slower pace type game.
Yeah.
Interesting. Spear Hunter, shout out, was talking about how much Capcom likes to reuse assets.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a slight against them. It was like, they reuse assets like dinos. Dinos.
Yeah, but
just an interesting game at an interesting time. The community's desire for a Dino Crisis game is at an all-time high. So it is ironic that Capcom announced a dinosaur game that's not Dino Crisis. It's very strange timing, and I'm sorry to this game to keep bringing up Dino Crisis, but it's hard not to when, people have been asking about it for a while.
Yeah. I'm blanking on Capcom's release calendar for this year before this.
So this is 2023, this game.
Yeah, okay. Because I was wondering if this is like a game like Capcom needs some games in between like their big releases. And we still haven't heard about any of the so-called rumored ones that we're kind of expecting later this year to be announced at some point. I mean, Street Fighter 6 was like the last big thing, but that was a tease.
Yeah. Right.
And I wonder if these are like these smaller projects. And also Capcom seems to really want to capitalize on multiplayer games.
Yes, just gonna say that.
Like they've had some misfires, like ReVerse is one of those, but
we
this
did not see.
Yeah, we did not see that. The game is probably gone, canceled. But something like this definitely looks a little bit more promising than ReVerse. For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Co-op dinos.
And this is coming to last gen as well. So everyone getting in on that action. But yeah, I wonder, you're saying about reusing assets. Like, it's the game that has 400 dinosaurs on screen using the same assets that's going to have 2 or 3.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, good call.
But yeah, it might be stupid fun like EDF.
Yeah.
But let's at least hope it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one I wanted to bring up, not a reveal, Gigabash. They actually had a demo on Steam during the Steam Next Fest last month. So this is a kaiju arena brawler, smashing monsters, but then they also revealed there's like a mayhem mode.
Nice.
So it's like different mini games, different types of objectives. So like one looked like a hot potato where you're like knocking a big bomb around.
Fun.
Another one would look like you were getting points for smashing buildings as well as direct combat. And then one of the descriptions here: throw office buildings at your friends, or roll a whole district and your enemies into a single massive snowball. I want to see that. I didn't see that in the trailer. Yeah. Wreak enough,
this seems fun.
It looks
wreak enough
so
havoc,
fun.
and you'll evolve into your final form, the terrifyingly Titanic S-Class.
Awesome.
Dude, S-Class, let's go.
Yeah.
I feel like these games, unless I'm just misremembering, they kind of like vanished for a while. These were like
Power Stone style.
like N64,
Yeah.
PS2, GameCube era, Xbox. Like these types of like arena brawl games like this came out, and then we
Like
hit like
top
last
down.
gen, and they just I don't, maybe they're just other like maybe they're in in
Well, I feel
Japan they're more popular, but
I
they
feel
just
like
don't
it-
see an outside release.
I feel like it transitioned Damiani to like the side-scrolling ones, like Brawlhalla, Towerfall, like Samurai Gun style, like arena brawlers in that sense, rather than like the Power Stone isometric arena based. Looks cool. Also, Dawn of the Monsters is another like kaiju game, so we got 2 kaiju games
The
coming.
Way Forward one, right?
Yeah. I'm down. I love King of the Monsters. Love throwing buildings at people. Like that's cool.
Yeah. So if you played that demo during Steam Next Fest, let us know.
Yeah.
How is it? Huber, I want you to go off on this one. Trek to Yomi.
Dude,
You're signed up twice.
I'm so hyped on Trek to Yomi. I'm so hyped. It looks like a really emotional story for how like minimalist it is. It's very like minimal, black and white game, not a lot of dialogue going on. Like it still conveys a lot of emotion just from the brief little bits I've seen.
And to clarify, this is like a samurai era action game. Looks like an old movie. It even has like some of that film flicker effect going on.
Yeah, it's got that Kurosawa filter everyone jokes about. It's just it looks like Sifu in a way. Obviously not like, full on levels like that. It's a little more like side scrolly, but like some of those shots in that new trailer we saw at Bloodworth were out of control. They were like climbing up some mountain and it was getting all supernatural.
Yeah, they were doing some different angles and stuff there that looked very cinematic.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just straight, like always the same perspective for sure.
Combat, I wouldn't know how it feels till I get my hands on it. I'm hoping it's lethal in the way that Ghost of Tsushima is. Like, if it's simple, I want it to just be like, you can kill them quick, they can kill you quick. That kind of combat,
True. I guess
I don't really know.
Yeah, it's the biggest question mark for me too,
Is the
because
combat,
how good is it going to feel? Because we do have Ghost of Tsushima to go off of, and it's, fair or not, people are going to, compare
Samurai
like
swords.
swordplay to that level, even though it's like not open world. It's like doesn't matter. Like you doing like this intense, like you should have more focus on the combat. It should be even more intense. And as you said, it visually, kind of stylistically, is drawing some like comparisons to like Sifu and its close quarter nature.
Yeah, that old boy shot. Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's gonna like, but the trailer did clearly show like decapitations, and it looked like lethal. So hopefully, it's just a challenging game where you just got to figure out how to deal with everything and progress, because like one wrong swing, you're done, go back and like have to try again. Like that supernatural thing might have been like maybe when you die you have to like go through like an undead world or something to like get back to your body or something. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know.
That would be. Samurais, kind of like dinos, just universally cool and fun, and I'm in.
Yeah. So Isla, you actually know this guy, huh? Leonard Menciari?
Yeah. We hadn't talked in a little while. I was chatting with him the other day though after I saw the trailer, and I was like, "Yo, dude, it's looking really good." And then we were mostly just catching up. He doesn't like doing video stuff, so I can't get him on camera, which is I was trying to see. But like, no, yeah, he's a nice guy, and I'm happy that he's like getting something this cool out.
Yeah.
Like, really neat, really neat.
Definitely one of my most hyped indie games of the year, no question.
It looks wild. It looks crazy.
And then Flying Wild Hog, who did Shadow Warriors, supporting him somehow.
God.
Do you know the relationship there?
I didn't ask. No, I don't know.
Okay. The next big unexpected one, which we probably should have expected something from, but I came out of nowhere for me, is the Returnal Ascension update. 2 pillars here. Co-op play. Online co-op, and the Tower of Sisyphus, and we'll get into each of these. So co-op is interestingly enough, the tower you can't do co-op. Co-op is more for the main game, but there's some details I grabbed off the PlayStation blog. Number 1, if players get too far apart, there's like some tether that brings you back together, so that like focuses you in on
That's
kind
smart.
of similar areas.
Yeah.
You can revive the other person if they go down.
That's huge.
So that changes strategy for
That's
sure.
Huge.
Yeah. Progression is tied to the host.
Okay.
Basically, you're helping your buddies get through tough spots.
Summon.
Souls.
Yeah,
Souls.
summon.
All right.
But the client player does get to keep glyphs and scout rank and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then for the Tower of Sisyphus, that is a completely endless mode. It gets harder and harder. There are high scores. There are leaderboards.
Nice.
There's
a nightmare situation.
There's a score multiplier. So you want to try to keep from getting hit, or you lose your multiplier. You want to keep on target, because if you wait too long, your multiplier is going to dry out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a new boss in there, and there's new story
A lot
stuff
new story in that trailer. It looked so story focused. It legitimately looked like Returnal 1.5. That's how I'm viewing this.
Well, it's Returnal 3.0.
3.0, yeah. I guess so, yeah. It honestly, the amount of story implications were very surprising. And I love that Sony is doing this with their games. It is a 10 out of 10. This reminds me exactly of Ghost of Tsushima Legends, adding a multiplayer mode to your single-player game, just a new way to experience it, free of charge, unreal.
True, yeah.
Yeah, that's just wild that they're giving this away. And then just new story stuff, you know? I am so surprised by this. I am absolutely surprised, and I welcome this. This is a gift. This is an absolute gift.
Yeah, they're throwing a good amount of support behind House Mark there, so it's like really good to see this game take off like that, especially after where they were before the release of this and moving away from what they were working on before. So finding this great success and then having Sony show like the long term kind of like roadmap for this game and sustaining it, and it's gonna lead into like bigger things probably down the road. But the biggest thing for me is someone who hasn't actually jumped into the game yet is like co-op. I wasn't like adverse to the game before, but now this is like makes it even easier to jump in. It's like, dude, I just want to have fun playing with someone. I don't care if we lose and stuff. Like, I just want to play with someone, and this is gonna make it kind of fun. So
that's what I'm excited about. I'm so bad at bullet hell, dude.
Let's jump in. Jump in. Let's go,
dude.
Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm ready.
Whether you need like help to getting through, or you're looking forward to play for fun. I mean,
I wonder if you can revive each other. Did they say that?
Yeah, you can revive each other.
That's awesome.
And it sounds like there might be multiple places to summon from. Because they're saying that there's a spot by the crash site where you pull in another player, but it sounds like there might be other checkpoints along the way.
Oh,
where
the
you can
like
do it
resurrection things or whatever. Yeah.
Maybe there. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it like costs in-game currency to summon a player. Like this game isn't generous.
Not easy. Not an
easy game.
Nope.
Yeah, and you can do randoms as well as doing a private match to get a friend. Yeah.
That's fun. That's so great. I love this. It's my favorite kind of DLC is when you have a new way to play the same game and you have story stuff. It's like the best of all worlds here, and it's free. Like, it doesn't get any better than this. Yeah. It doesn't get any better than this with a game you love.
So we had the Dino Crisis bait, and we also got the Final Fantasy Tactics bait.
Boy, did we.
The Dio Field Chronicle, coming from Square Enix. Square Enix, actually, is the way they said it in the direct. So there's a lot of SRPGs. We just got Triangle Strategy. This, though, they're calling it Real-Time Tactical Battle, RTTB, because they've always got to abbreviate it.
RTTB.
They got to come up with their own thing. ATB, baby.
ATB gauge, dude. Grandia hype. Was Grandia the first? Probably not. It's like
Final Fantasy.
Right?
Character designer is from Lord of Vermilion 3 and 4, which I don't even think we ever got here. And then there's also Kamiko Kuryo Isamu from Final Fantasy 12 and 13. And then the sound composers are Ramin Djawadi and Brandon Campbell from Game of Thrones.
Dude, Game of Thrones.
Hey, good audio. Say what you will about Game of Thrones. It sounds good.
Yeah. And so description. So this is the thing I'm wondering about is either you're playing as like a core group or there's like heroes and then you have other people. But I was looking through screenshots and it always seem to be the same characters. And so they're called the Blue Fox. There's Fredret, who is possessed with great strength and a desire to right the course of the nation. Iscarion, a progressive thinker with a warm and virtuous heart. Waltaquin, a powerful magic user with equally potent charisma. And Andreas, the brains of the company, who is always planning one step ahead. So yeah, seems like a very specifically focused cast. Seems like there's going to be a lot of story information going on.
Yeah, I see why I was drawing comparisons to Fire Emblem because of like the company nature, like a bunch of like named heroes who were fighting with you. And yeah, it did look like the early footage conveyed that things were moving in real time, though the draw path for your movement was like literally out of XCOM, and like it felt like we were seeing like it's like a part Fire Emblem, part XCOM. But I mean, it looked good. They were really going for the heavy cinematic action shots. So when you took an action with your turn, it cut like the character profile in the top left, and then like you'd see it would like camera shift, so it wasn't the isometric anymore, and you'd see like the 3D models like appreciated a little bit more, which is nice. nice.
That's what you were saying was like Valkyria then, right?
Yeah. Well,
Similar?
so the thing I was saying with Valkyria is when in the trailer, the very first gameplay shot where the horse, the cavalry person tries to maneuver, when they move, the enemies move too at the same time. So in Valkyria, when you move, everything moves. Like enemies can shoot at you, they take action against you, but once you go to the menu, the game action freezes, and then you can initiate from there. So I imagine it's just when you try and move, the enemy can react to you as well, which adds an extra layer of challenge because in a lot of SRPGs, it's about, are you within range of that person? Then they might fire at you, but like they don't move until you've taken your turn. So them adjusting on the fly, you have to take that into account, which is kind of like the nature of Valkyria is that things will move around in real time while you are moving, which is not something in Fire Emblem, which is not something really in Final Fantasy Tactics. So I'm very appreciative to see another game trying out that type of mechanic because I think it I don't know, it adds a little bit more like not realism but like in the moment, like it like takes a little bit from like the sit back and just like analyze everything once you go. It's just another thing you have to keep track of.
Yeah,
but it's nice.
More strategy.
It's the like illusion of like action, like it's real time action when it's really still like going on behind the scenes.
Isla, I know you were kind of looking into this just because you like that tactics and you were hoping for it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty quickly I was like, okay, none of these place names are right, so this isn't FFT, but it looks. I am cautiously optimistic, I'd say. I didn't put it on my fantasy league team, right?
Right.
Because I'm not confident it'll actually come out this year, and B, I don't know. There's something about it.
Looked a little switchy.
But yeah, looked a little switchy.
Looked a little switchy.
It does intentionally have that kind of diorama thing to it, to where the world is like actually just this rectangle that you can see the
and
edges
it's like
of.
In triangle strategy, like I had to turn down the vignette effects and like the depth of field because I'm like, you guys went too far with it. Like it looks cool, but you went way too far. But like, yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. I hope it's awesome. I'm skeptically.
Yeah, it was a good thing you said earlier. Why we're expecting it to be Tactics because, I mean, that's one of the rumors is that a Tactics remaster is in the works, and it was right alongside with that Chrono Cross remaster, which did get announced and is actually happening. So the fact that now that's supposedly happening, we have Triangle Strategies, which is already out, and now this coming out, it's like they're really going in on like SRPGs, which is great because I think there should be more SRPGs, and you're getting three different. Or I don't know if it's really three different styles, but at least this is a different style than Triangle Strategy and or Final Fantasy Tactics. So. The only thing is there was some confusion on the announcement about being developed by Platinum, but apparently, apparently it's not the case.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. They copy pasted the website template or something was
from Babylon's Fall.
Yeah, from Babylon's Fall, and then they had to like the press release or something said like it's not developed by Platinum Games. I mean, when we're doing reactions, Ben did point out like they made Infinite Space, but they were co-developers back in the day with when Sega published it. Infinite Space is such a different game than what this is, and I'm like, now that they couldn't make this, just seems a little weird. So close to Babylon's Fall that they would be making an SRPG like this just didn't seem correct. So I still don't know who's actually developing it. I didn't take a look at who's doing it.
I mean, we got some names, but I don't know like a name of the team exactly.
Yeah, I would be very curious because we did get the name on who's developing the other title that was announced. Yeah.
And then the last one, another Square Enix surprise announcement is Valkyrie Elysium, sequel to the Valkyrie Profile series. It includes classic gameplay elements such as Einherjar, recruitable warriors who will join the hero and fight at her side when summoned. And then Motoi Sakuraba returns as composer, who has been on past games as well as the Mario sports games, Golden Sun, Tails, Star Ocean, Baten Kaitos.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. I have one of these in mint condition on PS2. I bought it like when it came out and played it for like 10 minutes and then just never went back to it. So that's my experience with this
game, dude.
That's my experience with this franchise. Is like I bought it because it looked sick when I was in high school. Yeah, and then just like never played it really.
The thing I remember from Valkyrie Profile is the numbers go real high. I remember doing like 80,000 damage or something,
Jeez.
and I'm like, whoa.
It's definitely a series that
Sick.
I feel like this is because I feel like you're going to say this also looks switchy in your
Right.
Yes.
words as well.
I was
Sorry.
thinking it was kind
So
of on
sorry.
that same like budget level as the Trials of Mana remake.
So
Around there.
This
Yeah.
is the thing. I do feel like they have a dedicated team of developers at Square Enix who are tasked with making games that aren't quite AAA budget, but need to come out in like a shorter time as well, so they get these lower budget titles. I think this is the solution they figured out, and I think it stems from the success that like they've been seeing with Team Osno and their 2D HD efforts, plus the maybe not to the same extent, but like Tokyo RPG Factory before them, like
Right.
that had like a
We
little.
haven't heard from them for a while. Huh?
Yeah, they're probably not probably going to hear from them again, I would guess. But these franchises that they want to continue that people like, but they clearly can't justify making a big budget game for them. I think this is the compromise for it, and it does feel like there's someone internally who's passionate about these kind of franchises or games. That's why we got ActRaiser out of the blue, because someone was probably very passionate about that. Like, obviously, there's a lot of passion for Chrono Cross over there, and now with the Valkyrie profile series, people have been asking for a follow-up to that, and you're getting this in this form. It's just, you're not going to get that AAA budget version of it. And I think it's a little bit more apparent because back in the older generations, there wasn't as much discrepancy between, like, you know, you couldn't tell a game was lower, bigger budget very
Right.
easily. Now, in the era of like 4K, 60 frames, it's like, it's
game.
very, very easy to tell that this,
Well,
you
the
know,
gap is so wide
yeah,
now.
but the game is coming out on multiple platforms, so like they are like expecting this to sell like decently for what it is, and they are like, it's not just like a Switch exclusive like made for that. This is a clearly calculated effort to keep these series going.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's cool for those fans. Like you guys, I haven't really jumped into that franchise before. So it's always seemed sort of on that like lower tier Square Enix to me, like, not that it's not good or anything like that, but it just hasn't been given that kind of attention, that kind of marketing. You know, I think even back when the originals came out, you know, like the people that were really following Square Enix RPGs are the ones that knew about it, and everyone else just had no idea.
Yeah.
I wonder if the recent Viking hype is responsible for this coming
Sure.
back. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
Vikings are so
Yes, that's it,
freaking
Huber.
popular right now. It's. I wonder if they were just
Also
looking
the
at
Vikings.
it. You know, they referenced like Valhalla and shit in the
Man.
trailer, right? Didn't they say like?
I can't. I mean, yeah, the
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Yeah,
They're trying to
yeah.
invent Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the initiative they had where independent studios could come try and take some of their IPs from Square Enix.
Oh, wow,
Remember,
yeah.
like Blood Rain or something was one of the ones that was up for grabs, I think, at the time, or not Legacy of Soul Reaver or something. Sorry, it might have been
Yeah,
one
not
of those.
Blood Rain.
Sorry,
Somebody's doing that,
sorry, Soul Reaver, that one. And it was just a weird initiative. I feel like this is an evolution of that, where they were trying to figure out a way to dive into some of their more obscure / kind of like long forgotten franchises again, where they couldn't justify that budget. And it seems to be working out now. And I hope they keep this going, because they're not for everyone, but it's always nice. Like once or twice a year now, we're seeing these surprise releases that an update to a franchise that was around for like, you know, last maybe 5, 10, even 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some that were a little bit more recent, but yeah, I think they might have skipped most of last gen, yeah. And then
Love when a franchise comes back.
the big boy, the one that I broke this out in its own segment in timestamps, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection.
Cowabunga!
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Oh, Konami still re-releasing games at least.
Yeah. Digital Eclipse is in on this, and full disclosure, Chris Kohler is working on this. I've known Chris for like 20-something years. We both started out on fan sites. He had his own site back in the day. And then
Sick.
went to Wired and Kotaku, and now he's doing this stuff at Digital Eclipse. So there are 13 titles, along with 11 the Japanese versions. Wow. The other two didn't come out in Japan. That's why they don't have Japanese versions for those. Here's the full gigantic list.
Yes.
Let's go.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game.
Yes. This is so huge because I have this video game on NES. I still have my NES copy, but I could never play the arcade version at home. Like, yes.
Yeah.
That's one of my all-time favorites. That Turtles in Time sucks up all the air in the room, but like, arcade game?
Yeah, they're
right there.
Extra sound effects and voice samples, probably slightly the better visuals, because it's cool. They made it such a big deal when it came out on NES, the port of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you compare them side by side. It is night and day.
Yes.
Even today, it's like it's gonna be so sick to go through like the arcade one and not have to buy one of those arcade 1-up cabinets for it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the main places I got to play the original arcade game was the flea market. Because my grandparents had a shop in the flea market. They sold knives and lawnmower parts and stuff. And there's just like some arcades down at the end of the corridor, the hallway or whatever, and like I'd try to get some quarters so when they would be babysitting me or whatever, I'd have to stay there like all day long in the shop.
Dude,
go over and play some
Bloodworth. Oh my god!
Every pizza joint had Ninja Turtles the arcade game, man. Like anytime we go to like Pizza Hut or whatever, and the little arcade section was it was just like packed.
Yes,
it was the one game you could count on being here. Yeah,
having some pizza and like co-oping that in a pizza joint. Oh my goodness!
Parents had to pull you away to actually eat. It's like, it's pizza. What are you doing? Like, dude, it's Ninja Turtles. Get away. Let's go.
Unbelievably hyped for that one.
Then next up, Turtles in Time, the
arcade
game, which is
the arcade version
one that I have not really played much of. I didn't see Turtles in Time the arcades that much.
I remember
played the Super Nintendo one.
I remember the side of this cabinet so vividly.
Good.
The Turtles in Time side of it. Yeah,
so
this
good.
Is funny to me. I think I've only played the arcade version.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Because I didn't have a Super. So
Well, there's like a one level difference, I think. There's like I
know that's the case with Hyperstone Heist versus.
Yeah, I forget if like the NES one, it's something like a snow level, but like I think there's like a Samurai Ninja level in Turtles in Time that's like only in one of the
That's
other.
in Hyperstone Heist. You might be thinking of.
There's one in the other one too.
Okay. Yeah, I actually don't know that.
I don't remember the specifics, but there's definitely an exclusive stage. But I think the Super Nintendo got extra.
Interesting.
Because
I know the main difference with Hyperstone Heist is that the Hyperstone Heist gets Tatsu. They get the Foot Clan.
Yes.
The Tatsu fight, that whole level is exclusive to Hyperstone Heist.
This one you
That's
didn't
the
fight
main
the
difference.
level I'm thinking of. You fight like a ghost shinobi dude or whatever. His head like teleports around and stuff like that.
Shit, I
like
don't
his
remember.
body disappears and his head teleports around. Yeah, that's like kind of cool.
Super cool.
But this just like with the first arcade game, Turtles in Time arcade, like getting those better visuals again. But like I remember the biggest one was the Shredder fight at the end. Like it just looked way better in the original arcade.
I honestly can't
like the
picture
effects,
it.
like
In my
him
brain, I
because
can't
he does
picture
like the fire, the ice, and then like the ooze, the green, and like just the sound effects were better. I don't think the hurling thing. Remember in the arcade version, the hurling at the Technodrome or at Shredder? I don't think that's in the arcade version.
I wonder.
I forget.
I think I'm looking into it, and I don't see a different level listed here, but different enemies and bosses is listed for the
Toga and
SNES
Razor are
version.
different.
Right.
Yeah,
that was it.
That's
Because
a
you got
huge
Rocksteady
one.
Bebop on the pirate ship, but it's
And there's versus modes in Time Trial in SNES.
Yeah. Sick.
Mechanical differences, obviously, mode 7, blah, blah, blah.
Oh yeah, the future stage.
Different intro.
It looks different because of mode 7.
Yep,
When you're on
mode
the
7.
hover things.
Yep.
Yeah, where Crane comes down.
Dude.
Yeah.
Interesting. Then we've got the Ninja Turtles NES game. This
Notoriously
game
difficult.
Yeah, I've
Let's
never
go
finished.
rewind.
I've never finished. Yep, I used to get like maybe to stage 2. This game is impossible.
Screw the Technodrome stage.
Also, a really cool cover of that game. Check out the cover art.
Dude.
So this game is
Turtles look
hilarious
menacing.
because first of all, I remember there was a guy across the street that
kid
that had that. I played the NES game at his place, but then I had this weird Commodore 64 port of this game.
What?
I brought it onto Commodore 64.
Oh no.
I don't even know what that version looks like, Blood.
Yeah,
Inferior?
It's not quite as good as the original NES version.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like Neighbor Kid and Guy Across the Street have distinctly different vibes.
Okay. Guy across the street is different than Neighbor Kid? Because Guy across the street is still a neighbor.
It's a neighbor, but it's a guy across the
It's
street.
a guy, not
It's
a
not
kid.
a neighbor kid.
Neighbor Kid is like you're
Blood
going to the
shows his
playground.
words.
Neighbor kid.
Blood said guy across the
Guy
well,
street.
across the street.
it is my age.
It's
so, yeah, well,
it's
Okay.
funny.
So it's a neighbor kid. Then.
yeah.
Blood's just a maniac. Guy across the street, I'm like, Blood, you shouldn't have been over there.
Should have been there, man. Yeah, this game gets the rep for being so difficult.
So
I mean,
difficult.
people bring up like the dam stuff,
The dam is
the under the
ridiculous.
water part because it changes controls. It's always like funny to think about like the evolution of difficulty real quick because I mean this time games were coming. That
game's
mentality.
impossible.
Well, the mentality was because like games evolved from arcade games. They started as arcade games and then became console games, but like they were only doing what they knew. So like they were like supposed to be like quarter munchers. So like
Yeah.
they just like eat your quarters, they eat up lives, and that's like continued over. It's kind of like why lives have gone away like in the last like several generations. But interesting to know is that in the Super Nintendo to like the 16-bit transition to 32 era, the difficulty in some games kind of spiked and stayed that way because it wasn't necessarily because it was arcade mentality anymore. It was some old developers have gone on record. There's some interviews out there that it was the advent of rentals, home rentals.
yeah.
So they needed to make you
Yep. That was in a documentary I watched recently.
yeah,
And
exactly.
They talked about
Yeah.
how they wanted to
They-
make their games hard enough
Yep.
so you would keep renting it.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
It was just in a documentary
Yeah, I
watched.
forget the name of it too.
Yeah.
But like that was the whole thing about it. Yeah.
So cool. But also not cool.
Yeah.
But also cool. Like, hey,
It also has like some of those like Ninja Gaiden / Castlevania like respawns where it's like
Oh yeah.
knocking you off little. Yeah.
Really weird jumps, like gaps where you like
Yeah.
weren't supposed to jump, you just walk over them and stuff. Like so crazy.
Brutal
just
game.
Crazy stuff.
Honestly, with this collection, I will probably boot that up for like 30 minutes, die a bunch of times, and be like, all right, I'm good.
No, I'm gonna use that rewind feature.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're-
yeah, we can get through
We're
it.
going through it, baby.
Yeah.
We're seeing that ending for once.
Redemption.
and then Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, the NES version,
Yeah.
of course.
That's so great. We get both. Awesome.
And then Ninja Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project.
This is one of
about
my
Reynolds. Yeah.
all-time favorites. This, to me, is the best Turtles game that not everybody talks about. It's known that it's great, but obviously it doesn't get the lip service of the arcade game, Turtles in Time, even Hyperstone Heist. This game is excellent. This is one of the later NES games on the system.
It pushes the NES a little too hard. I wonder
Dude,
if they'll do
it
anything
does.
to like get rid of some like the sprite flickering and
Yeah.
slow down and stuff because it was pretty bad in this game. They
Yeah.
went beyond what the NES could really handle.
Oh, yeah. I love this game. It is very one note. There's a move where you push A and B together and you like stick them with your weapon and throw them over you and it one-shots them. So like the game kind of devolves
And it doesn't-
into just like
It doesn't HP penalty you. It costs HP. Oh man, then you're gonna abuse the heck.
totally remember
This
that.
is a blind spot for me, along with Hyperstone Heist. So looking forward to diving into this one.
Yeah, this one is so good. So good. It starts on the beach, like the dock, like beach level. So
thanks
cool.
for that.
Yeah,
Secret
the
of the
beach is the
Ooze?
one that sticks in my mind. I don't remember most of the rest of the game, but that beach every time. Like when I think of this game, that's what I remember.
Totally.
Yeah. And then NES version of Tournament Fighters.
Oh boy, that's gonna be
Okay.
rough.
Yeah, I didn't play that too much.
Yeah. We'll get into this. There's okay. We also have the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, didn't play
And
the
the
fighting games too
Genesis
much.
version, yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard some people talking about, like the Super Nintendo is the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the other two versions aren't very good, but the Super Nintendo is
Compromised.
the one. So I'm interested to see how those things stack up.
All the versions. What maniac's idea was this? Who did this?
Chris Kohler, I think.
Thank you. So much thank you. Like I can't even thank whoever did this. I'm indebted to you.
Then we have Turtles 4, Turtles in Time for Super NES. Then we have Hyperstone Heist,
Yes.
Genesis.
Yes.
And then we got the crazy Game Boy games.
Yeah.
Fall of
saying
the
all
Foot
the-
Clan. Yes, another one of my favorites.
3 of them.
Sophia loves that game.
Love all the
music
Foot
is
Clan.
so good, dude.
Yes.
River or whatever
I
her
played that
song
game
is
to
so good.
death, man.
Same. That was the Turtle game. I probably one of the ones I played the most because you just took it everywhere
Yeah.
on Game Boy.
It was funny because what were we doing? We did some like top 10 Game Boy games or something.
I made
And then
sure that was on the list.
But that's the thing. I bought the game. I get it. I'm recording footage. I'm like, dude, this game is not good.
I love it. It's good.
This is like one of those games where like it looked good for the
Yeah.
Game Boy because they made the sprites gigantic. But because they made the sprites gigantic, like you can't see it. You're just like always in this tiny little window trying to fight anything.
It's funny. It's funny.
And I think I also like got through pretty much the whole game in like 20 minutes or something.
It's hilarious.
And then there's 2 more Game Boy games, Back from the Sewers, and Radical Rescue. Now here's a cool thing.
One of those is a blind spot for me for sure. I know I haven't played at least one of
Yeah, I
those.
definitely haven't played either one of them.
Yeah.
They're adding online play to 4 of these games.
To 4. Okay.
Oh, I did not know this. What are the 4? I thought it was universal. I was that would make sense though. Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade, Turtles in Time Arcade,
Oh God. Yes.
Hyperstone Heist,
Oh my God.
and Super NES Tournament Fighters.
Tournament
Yes.
fighters.
That's I'm super glad about this too because then with Turtles, the Manhattan Project, local only, so that'll be its own kind of
you go.
yeah. Oh, that's great. Those are the perfect ones to have online. Fantastic.
And then, as Damiani mentioned, there is a rewind feature. There's a button mapping feature. There's digital guides, which I'm curious what the detail is on that.
Yeah.
And then
Whose idea was this?
Sick.
hundreds of never before seen source materials.
Who did this? Seriously. This is
that Chris guy. He told me who did this.
Yeah. This is like this is a dream come true. This is too much. Like I'm just blown away. It's everything I could ever want from a Turtles remaster. Like it's the entire history basically consolidated into one package, and all this never before seen stuff, Blood. Like this is a fan's dream. This is what I want Capcom to do with, the Resident Evil, to have a Resident Evil remaster collection of the original trilogy with behind the scenes, like even if
The
you don't
N64 version, like
That's
here they've got 3 versions of
multiple-
games. Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
man, multiple
Bloodworth.
versions?
Yes, multiple versions, artwork, behind the scenes. Like it's everything you could ever want.
my
I
gosh,
just, this is the best. This is the best.
Price tag?
Like $30.
40.
40.
Good. Very fair. Fair price. Wow.
Yeah, imagine 13 games, $40. Imagine if they were
Yeah.
individually sold on like Switch or whatever.
Totally.
Like any $5
Oh,
a pop or
yeah.
whatever.
If
For sure. Virtual console. Yep.
the online editions and all this artwork and behind the scenes justifies the price tag, because I feel like if it were bare bones, if they were just like, hey, here's the games,
Right.
it could be like $30. So the fact that they've put work into it online, all this extra stuff, for sure.
Yeah. And if you're wondering, the thing he previously did, he might have done something else in between, but he also did the Blizzard collection. It came out last year with like rock and roll racing and Lost Vikings and stuff. So if you want an idea of what to expect, that's
Cool.
same direction.
Thank you. Thank you.
Damiani, I think you were the one that alerted us to this. Square Enix opened a music channel
Oh, yeah.
this week.
On YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube. There's also a YouTube Music, which I never even used. I think I knew it was a thing, but I clicked
YouTube
on
Music it used to be Google Play, then it was Google Music, then it was whatever, and then they sunsetted that because it's Google and transitioned it to YouTube Music, and then that's when I was like, I'm gonna go to Spotify.
Right.
But
I clicked
yeah.
on a link. I'm like, wait, what is this? But yeah, the regular YouTube page, though, I think it's a little easier to navigate. They released 5,000 tracks.
Wow.
All the original Final Fantasy soundtracks
What?
are in there. Final Fantasy 14 up through Shadowbringers is on there. Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. Basically all the Mana games. Nier, including Nier Automata.
Kingdom Hearts.
Bravely Default. Actually, I have not seen Kingdom Hearts.
Ouch.
Is it in
Pay
there?
up, Disney. Pay up.
It might not be.
I don't think I saw it in there. That might be a little bit more difficult because
Yep,
that's not
of
even.
course.
I don't think that's even on.
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts 3, I
that's
think
some
it's on
Disney
Spotify.
wild, wacky stuff.
Yeah, there's some of it on streaming services. I don't know about YouTube yet.
Okay.
Octopath is in there.
Yeah.
World Ends With You is in there. They've got some chill arrangements. They've got a holiday Final Fantasy CD that's in there.
Yeah, they're putting some of those cool arrangements on there that generally like just don't exist anywhere else. It's not like the full versions of them. Like one of them's like a 2.5 hour just like kind of like a playlist thing, but it's all like baked in together. So I think there's like timestamps you could skip ahead to each song. But
So cool.
yeah, because they have really cool soundtracks that they just sell that aren't on there. But the thing is just cool because this is free. This stuff has been available on streaming services, but they were behind paywalls. Like you had to have a subscription on Spotify or Apple. Like I use Apple Music, and I get all these soundtracks as well, and they're all on there. But they're making it free, and it's pretty much it's analogous to what's on them. It's like whatever's on there is what's on there here. But it's also great because it's always been like kind of like hit or miss with people uploading unofficial versions, and then Square Enix will nuke that channel, and then it's like, oh well, then we'll allow this. And it's nicest to have. It's always great when especially on like YouTube, which is the most popular place for all this to exist, just having that stuff. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack was just like a nightmare to try and find a song on YouTube to listen, because you'd find one you liked and then next week it'd be gone. But the other thing they're doing on there, besides like the lo-fi and the chill stuff that they're doing, is they had one episode of a behind the scenes kind of like developer interview,
Nice.
and they're going to do interviews with like some of the composers and like sound designers there, and it was like just a short 5-minute thing, and it was just like very basic, but there's the potential there for some really good the material to be in there. Maybe get like a Uematsu in there or something, have like a nice little talk with him. But and they also said the other thing that's not quite on there yet, I think, is they're gonna have footage of past concerts on there. And that's typically reserved for their Blu-ray releases only. Some of the stuff was only released in Japan, period. Wow. And they tease some of the clips of what they're going to put on there. And there's a lot of good concerts out there. But it's going to include the footage, though. So it's not just it's going to be the music. You get to see like them filming the stage and stuff. So there's like some good historical stuff that potentially is going to be in there. Like the first guy they interviewed, I forget their name. They're one of the members of the Black Mages.
Oh, okay.
They did Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack. 9. They worked on 13, like alongside and so the older ones alongside like Uematsu, one of the contributors. But like maybe get like the Black Mages footage, because that stuff has always been kind of like buy the CDs. It's like that stuff like usually gets hit hard. They have a bunch of like cool jazz albums that they do for their games. Like Final Fantasy Record Keeper has all these great versions. I hope end up on there as well. It's just nice to see a company like Square Enix that's doing this, because in the past it's been so, they've gotten better, but like it used to be very draconian when it came to this type of stuff. And I hope other Japanese publishers follow suit, because if Square Enix is doing it, I have hope for others, but I'm not going to hold my breath for Nintendo. That's the one I want to do, but I don't think, but like Capcom could do something like this. Bandai Namco could follow suit. Like even Sega could start doing something like this. They kind of do have a few individual uploads, but putting out that soundtrack is just like all those soundtracks. It's so comprehensive.
I do think one of the things that makes this not easy, this is a big project, but easier for them is, as you're saying, a lot of these things already existed in CD form. Like they were putting out these soundtracks early 90s. So they've had all of this stuff archived. Whereas, like the process of putting a soundtrack together isn't as simple as just like taking the files and putting them on a disc. Like you need to edit the music and all of that and figure out how it's going to flow.
That's very true, yeah.
And so like with Nintendo, it's like there's so many things that they haven't made soundtracks for, especially more recently. Like they were more common, like 10, 20 years ago. So it's interesting to think about, how other people could adapt this.
Yeah, because it's free, right? We said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ads.
Yeah.
But I was playing through the Trials of Mana thing, and I would get like an ad like before every like 2 or 3 tracks, something like that.
Because it's on YouTube?
Yeah.
So if you have premium, it's probably ad-free then?
Right, yeah.
Probably.
And it's so smart to do this, because some music, I'll watch it on, so-and-so's YouTube page. I'm not given the artist the view I'm giving this person who just has the music on their own YouTube page or like through Spotify, and we Spotify has weird percentages and whatnot. So it seems like this is a good
You could
way.
say bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems like this is a good way for them to have it under their umbrella. It's their music now.
I think it's also a thing of discoverability. I feel like a lot of streaming services, I see people constantly comment on how hard it is to find video game music on them. It's not the easiest to discover unless you go through direct links.
There are some weird things because like a lot of the titles and stuff will be Japanese, and so it's a little hard to find specifics.
No, to be fair, that's how it is across all their services. Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you use, Amazon Music. It still has Japanese titles, and the physical release of all I think you might have just gone a look at the Endwalker soundtrack, the CD. If you flipped it over, almost everything's in Japanese on the back. Some they do.
There's a little sticker on it actually that was that had English. Is oh yeah, this is Japanese release or whatever, etc.
So when you order anything from Square Enix's store, the music, they say this was originally a Japanese product. It's just being released in your territory, so it will contain Japanese language on it. So that I think is just them. It would be think of 5,000 plus songs. I have to now go back and translate, agree upon an official translation for that, that song now, and put that out there. That's probably a lot of work, and they're this is something nice they're doing. I think a lot of fans are just gonna be that's fine. For who it's intended for, you're gonna figure out. Plus, if you search for a song, it's probably gonna with their meta tags and stuff. Eventually, it's just gonna end up on that thing. And it's just nice to have an official source of it because even when people are re-uploading their own versions, it's they're either capturing from in game, so maybe the quality wasn't as good, or even if it was a CD rip, maybe it's from an older time, 10 years ago, where it was lower bit rate than what they uploaded.
I'm saying, it's you don't just rip files out of the game
exactly
when you make a soundtrack. You work on making the mix different and doing, especially when you have interactive elements. It's when you rip that file, what's happening with that interactive element?
Exactly.
It's gonna be weird.
They'd have and I know how much that applies to Nintendo's music, how they specifically use it in game with their layering and stuff. It's kind of difficult to do that. At least 20 versions of a song because one instrument happens when you fight it. Yeah, you know how it is. But I'm very curious to know the behind the scenes workings of how this came to be because it feels in the last few years this has kind of been spearheaded internally. I don't know if licensing, I thought maybe they were teamed with Sony for a while for publishing, but it looks like Square Enix Music is kind of a subsidiary that's been around for a while.
I think they might be associated with Warner.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. Maybe all
it might vary from release.
Maybe
too.
all rights most of the rights reverted back to Square Enix directly, so now it's easier for them just to upload the stuff without having to go through anyone else. But yeah, as you said, the fact that they released so much of this on CDs already, and there's a lot of old stuff I hope gets to come back. There's these albums called Final Fantasy Potion, Final Fantasy Prey. Right. There's all these things from the 2000s eras.
Celtic Moon.
Yeah, Celtic Moon. All these old era things that were oh, you gotta go to import shop or whatever to get this stuff. It'd be so sick if they could get clearance for that stuff. That's my high hopes, is that someday some of that more obscure stuff makes its way on there.
Yeah. The one thing I do wonder about though, because you recently streamed the Final Fantasy VI Pixel remaster, and that got hit with 4 copyright matches.
Oh, did? I didn't notice that.
So that's what I wonder is everybody streaming, are they going to get hit with copyright matches from Square?
Now that's on there
in the system before.
Well, I mean, a lot of this stuff was already people are getting hit with copyright things for stuff before this. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's the same game as always. It's just you gotta be careful at any moment. Just because they upload the music for us to listen to doesn't mean you could play it in game and upload it yourself now. It's probably more we prefer you not do that. We prefer you just come here and listen to it. But at the same time, it being up there officially might mean that they can now clear it. It's if it's accompanying video, it's just not just an audio match, it's an audio visual match, then it's well, sure. I don't know. They seem to be more willing to work with entities and groups and like Easy Allies as well. And when it comes to that, if we really reached out to them, hey, we just put up a partial let's play or whatever, they'd probably be all right, we'll release the claims.
And I think you're saying too, it might be easier to combat some of the fraud and stuff that's out there because I know there've been times in the past where I've gotten a copyright match on something and I'll go and I'll listen to it and it's from some random lullaby CD published in South America somewhere, and it's just straight up like a Final Fantasy song.
Dude.
Like, what in the world are you doing, people?
Tetris. 30 million versions of Tetris out there, all
yeah.
copyrighted.
Yeah.
So you put any Tetris song up there, you're gonna get slapped.
Yeah.
with a
Yeah,
bunch
it's like
of bogus.
patent trolling.
Tetris gets sampled and stuff in a lot of things, and so people that just like upload their whole library without looking through it is like, oh, this Tetris song was in this song. It's not yours, but now I gotta fight them over it.
Wild.
But yeah, hopefully it'll be successful. Hopefully, we'll see stuff like when that Live Alive remake comes out. Maybe we'll see that soundtrack on there if it hasn't already. I don't think there's any Dragon Quest stuff in there. That's a whole other can of worms.
Don't think you're gonna see that anytime soon. But,
yeah, probably not. Probably not. And now, a word from our sponsors.
For many people, getting financially healthy means dropping the weight of credit card debt. But where do you start when it feels like a never-ending cycle? Upstart can help you pay off your existing debt quickly and easily with a personal loan so you can start living your life. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart knows you're more than just your credit score, so rather than looking at your credit score alone, Upstart's model considers other factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in just 5 minutes. It's true, it's really quick. For loans between $1,000 to $50,000. You can even receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/easyallies. Upstart is just UPSTART. Easy Allies is Easy Allies. That's upstart.com/easyallies. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/easyallies. Kick off 2022 with a better checking account. No monthly fees. Chime, an award-winning app and debit card, has no overdraft fees, foreign transaction fees, monthly fees, or service fees. With over 60,000 free in-network ATMs and many locations like most Walgreens, 7-Eleven, CVS, you can access your money when you need it, where you need it. You can also send money to anyone, even if they aren't on Chime. Fee-free for you and no cash-out fees for them. Make your first good decision of the new year and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/allies. That's chime.com, chime.com/allies. ALLIES, but you probably know that. Mandatory disclosure. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank, North America, or NA. Members FDIC. Get fee-free transactions at any MoneyPass ATM in a 7-Eleven location and at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Otherwise, out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. Sometimes, pay anyone instant transfers can be delayed. Your recipient must use a valid debit card or be a Chime member to claim funds. Go to chime.com/allies and sign up for Chime. Do you know why free trials renew without your consent? It's a scam. It's a business scam to get money out of you. Don't let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download Truebill to take control of your subscriptions. Truebill is a new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 per year with Truebill. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. You just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. and your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. I actually signed up for Truebill, and it's pretty cool. If you've used something like Mint or whatever, you'll kind of know, but it like shows you all of your spending in a list. And then I just noticed something recently that on the list, so you'll have your list of reoccurring payments, which is really cool to just see it all there. So it's like, oh, I've got Adobe and Amazon Prime and Audible and Disney Plus and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh my God. And then you can look up at the top and it says, oh, I'm spending $2,000 a year on this stuff. So it's kind of fun. And like my car payment's in one of the other categories. So it's like way higher. And I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's my car. Okay, that makes sense. But like, it's nice to be able to just see it all in one place like that. I don't know. It's helpful. And then, yeah, you can just like track it and cancel. I've canceled a few things that I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to be paying for that. Truebill has over 2 million users and helped save them over $100 million. A little testimonial here from Matthew B., who says, in a matter of seconds, I saved $660 for the year on my DirecTV bill, saved $120 for the year on my Sirius XM bill, saved $840 a year on car insurance. Wow, that's a lot. I had to tell Sirius to stop calling me. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/allies. Truebill.com/allies to start canceling today. Truebill.com/allies. Thanks.
And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. All right. Sort of bad news today, or not today, this week. Halo Infinite Co-op pushed back again. Will not be launching in May with the launch of Season 2 as planned. So they already had the year delay. And then they had said, I think we would find out more, later. They said they couldn't meet launch for Co-op and Forge. And so those things are still getting pushed. So just FYI, the Co-op is going to be 4-player online, 2-player split screen.
That's sick.
On all consoles, including Xbox One.
Very cool.
So now it will be sometime later in Season 2. But Forge is coming Season 3.
Got it.
And then creative director Joseph Staten said, the non-linear, wide-open sections of the campaign present some big challenges for split screen that have taken us more time to solve. So
interesting.
Huber, I know you like co-op.
Love co-op. Love split screen.
Like Halo.
Big time staple of this franchise. It's unfortunate that it's not here at launch, but we live in COVID times, so you can always, play that COVID card for sure. Like, clearly, obviously impacted development of this game, so you can't really be upset about it. Like, it is what it is, and they ran into some unforeseen problems, and they've been open about it, and their multiplayer is free. Like, take your time. No rush on this.
I have to wonder, they specifically called out split screen multiplayer as being the thing that's holding it back. I wonder if there's, I understand the history there with split screen, but would there be a way for maybe them to just release the standard online co-op, like the 4-player mode, and push back split screen to a later season? Like maybe that would be like Season 3 with Forge. Yeah. And Season 2 could have the 4-player, or get it out sooner, like if they could meet the original target of May. But it sounds like maybe there's something tied to like
maybe
them. That or they just want all of it in one shot. Like maybe they know something we don't about backlash if it doesn't have the split screen at the same time. I'm not sure, but that I'm curious. Like all the things you said, Huber. I mean, are they in jeopardy of this coming too late? Will things move by, or like do you think they'll be able to keep the momentum going and keep people interested?
I think they missed the boat here, but the boat will come back to the dock when this launches. The interest will be revitalized. Like I haven't, like, I know people are waiting for this and wanting this, but I think because it's been so long now, it's been delayed. Like just whenever it comes, and then they'll hype it up, probably have some cool skins maybe tied to it, like maybe
Right.
some reach skins with all your multiplayer, but, you know, get all your custom characters in there.
I wonder how much of it is tied to the cross-gen nature of it. Like
That's the thing.
They said Xbox One. Like I wonder if it. Like we joke about things being compromised, but I mean it's largely a joke. But I wonder if in this case, like it is.
Right, because the thing I'm thinking in my head, right, is okay. So the Xbox One stuck on an old hard drive,
right,
and I'm going off over here. You're flying a Banshee up here.
right.
It's having to stream the world to both players in
chaos.
split screen.
Yeah, off of spinning platter. Like yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, so like like the Returnal, they were saying like co-op it, they're going to tether players together. I wonder if there's going to be anything like that so that you can't
Halo
get too far
tether.
apart.
Halo tether.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's funny.
Or is it the grappling hook? You grab your partner automatically back.
Oh, yeah, no, that actually is something to think about. Like, could they put in new mechanics
Can you
that are
imagine-
only available in co-op?
It's like cliffhanger. You like falling and you grapple your partner and like that'd be cool.
Can you imagine just like rotating your cooldowns, Damiani, 4-player grapple hook
That's what I'm
attack?
saying,
Just like one after another.
Launching yourself across the map. Like you go first,
Yeah.
and I like follow and just like go across the whole map that way.
That's what I want to see though, like Breath of the Wild style shenanigans, like people
Yeah.
taking advantage of it. That'd be so much
Totally.
fun.
Totally take your time with this. Yeah. When you drop it, hopefully it's that.
You're
Just,
so right though, Blood, about like streaming the world twice. Someone in a Banshee way over here, like that seems impossible. Like how do you fix that? Like draw distance is nothing. Like
right. And like now, like it's Series X, like obviously they have the NVMe drives, and
Yeah.
so like just it's practically instant. But I don't know how like load all that into RAM.
Yeah, that's just one of the unfortunate realities of like wanting to keep your game on multiple platforms like that. I mean, it's like it's a selling point and keeps people interested, but at the same time, that when does it get to that point where the technical hurdles outweigh like the benefits for that? Like for single player, it seems like it's fine, but now you're getting into this multiplayer, and it seems like even if they get it running, and I wonder if it's even going to be worth it for people who played on that, but. Then again, there are consumers who bought those versions expecting this multiplayer and are waiting for it. Yeah,
That's the bummer,
That's the thing that would be really harsh, is if they're just like, okay, we've got everything in there except we can't split screen on Xbox One. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. That is such a big selling point of that franchise. So it's unfortunate, but I can't be mad about it because, the multiplayer is free and COVID and unforeseen problems. Like it happens.
I kind of respect that they aren't doing that. Like they aren't saying like, if you're on Series X, here it is. Xbox One's coming later, because that seems like an easier path, and this seems more like equitable to just be like, nope, we're waiting.
Yeah, they also probably don't want to like segregate the player base.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
They want it to be like as you said, like when the boat comes back around for this, it could be like a big event. If you're missing that significant chunk of your demographic, you're gonna potentially like waste that opportunity. Now, I also wonder if they're ever gonna get to a point where both Sony and Microsoft they've been doing cross-gen, and it's clear they're gonna be doing it through at least next year. If they ever get to a point where they just say like it'll run on PlayStation 4 Pro or Xbox One X, but not like the base models. Will they ever get to a point where it's like, if you have the enhanced versions of the old console, you could play this game. We'll make a port. Like, there's that extra, like, because that's the weird thing to me about like those like incremental, like mid-generation update refreshes is that like a point they'd ever consider? Like, okay, now we're going to cut off here. So, like, would they ever cut off the vanilla consoles and say, like,
That's why I think it's interesting, though, with the Series S, is that they made the lower end spec, but they still got the faster hard drive in there, So
yeah, with this, the hard drive is the biggest thing on both systems, like whether it's like PlayStation or Xbox. But assuming like all things equal going forward, like would they like ever use like a mid-generation thing as the cutoff point? Because they're closer, the gap in power is a little bit closer. Like, would it have been easier?
I don't think that on a technical level they have a really good way of doing it, though. Because when you buy a PS4 game, you're buying a PS4 game.
Can it lock you? Yeah, like this Pro or Xbox One X be able to like lock you up? I know, like they've done that in the past for other systems. Like a new 3DS had like exclusive games, like you could not.
A handful of them,
yeah. And then DSi did that, but that was.
Didn't they say they would never do that though? I thought when they announced these, they were like, we'll never do that.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's
I don't
even
have
like
that
like
quote on
it's
hand.
just my curiosity, wondering
Yeah.
if that would ever be a thing, because that obviously happens with like eventually like iPhones and like the iOS stuff. And eventually they have to pick a cutoff, and it's like base version can't support this anymore. Or
Yeah.
Pro might be able to support this. Would they do that? Yeah.
It's interesting.
We will see. Hopefully they keep on this latest target and it actually comes out, in that season 2 space somewhere.
When's that tentatively? Do we do not know for season 2? Because that May window is looking really nice, wide open.
Yeah. I know the season starts May 3rd. I don't know when season 3 is supposed to start. But Forge is they're doing the test flights. So the people are in those beta programs
Nice.
are screwing around with Forge. Huber, reports going around. Prime Video is in talks to make a God of War TV show.
Yes.
This was reported by Deadline. Producers from The Expanse,
Canceled
Yeah.
twice.
Canceled twice. Thanks for watching.
Mark Fergus. And
Thanks for your support.
Yeah, missed the boat. Missed the boat. The boat didn't come back around. I understand. Well, I mean, it did, but then it got canceled again.
And Rafe Judkins, who's on Wheel of Times and Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Canceled once.
So this is in addition to recent revelations that PlayStation is doing a Twisted Metal show with Peacock and Anthony Mackie.
What?
That one I don't know.
I missed that one. Wow.
And the Last of Us HBO series on the way.
So hyped for that.
Pedro,
That's
dude.
the most hyped for sure.
Yeah.
With everyone who's involved with The Last of Us, that has me the most excited.
So this isn't really confirmed yet.
Okay.
But Huber, what are your thoughts? What are your dreams on God of War TV show?
My dream. Well, the first question. First up, how old is Kratos in the show? Mm-hmm. Are we old Kratos in the Nordic world, or are we the ghost of Sparta in frickin' like Greece and Sparta and stuff? Like, that is a dramatic shift, and I would imagine a boatload of money to do both in a season. If you were doing maybe we're doing 2018 and he has flashbacks of that time. But that's my first question. My second question is who from the games is involved, because you have Druckmann out there with Last of Us directing episodes, hands on. So are we getting like Corey Barlog in here to oversee this, supervision or consultant at least? Because I would
Or someone else on the team.
I would like Sony to be involved in some capacity with that. Other than that, whatever you want to do, I'm never live and die by a video game movie show adaptation. I go into every single one, whether it is Resident Evil, my favorite thing, or like Monster Hunter. I go into all of them with the same expectations. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, no skin off my back. So we'll see.
Yeah.
No pressure here, honestly, for me.
Amazon obviously has the means to give it the budget it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, while we have not seen it yet, at least the Lord of the Rings series passes the visual test, at least for that. But
Because Wheel of Time, I really like. Shout out to Wheel of Time. I enjoyed it, but it definitely didn't get the resources that it might. It looks fine. It doesn't look budget, but like it's a fantasy show. It needs money. There's a lot of visual stuff going on. So like with God of War, it's gonna need some money.
Yeah.
But
potentially, yeah. I feel bad because even when you get creators involved, like you're asking who are the names involved with that, I think that can potentially help. But I feel like some of the best video game adaptations aren't even like adaptations of video games themselves. They're like just thematically a video game movie. I'm thinking of like Wreck-It Ralph.
Gamer.
Right.
Free Guy. I just recently watched Free Guy, and I was like, actually, this is pretty good. Like, this isn't talking down on me. This isn't insulting. And like, I actually thought the jokes about like just gaming and game culture, it was like kind of like, they're kind of funny. I thought this is good. So sometimes I feel like, you need to have some freedom to do what you want to do and make a good movie first, and not get so caught up in the kind of like the lore, the rules, like the quote unquote like the lore Bible that some of these companies have for their things. Like Kratos would never do this or that. It's like, well, if you have a good idea with this, it's like,
go with it.
You know, like I think it's a theme they need to start with, and then they go with that because, man, like. There's been times where Kratos been involved, like supposedly like Miyamoto was involved in like the original Super Mario Bros. Movie. Is like it's Sultan. It's like okay, like.
But then I think of like recently, I think of Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City and Uncharted. I think of both of those, and they went wildly away from the games to a detriment. Like they made changes that made the movie worse, and that's not from me coming at it from like I love the games. It should be this way. It's like, yo, your meeting just wasn't compelling. Like the way you meet in the game has so much more weight and stakes to it, and it matters.
Dude,
whereas like you're just walking into a bar, hey, it's like what?
Whoops, I didn't have a camera on you. It's like what we were talking about with Breaking Bad during reaction shots. Check it out. Is like it all depends on the talent of your team.
Yeah.
Like, and it seems like video game movie adaptations. They don't always get the A team.
They don't always get the A team.
They don't always get the A team. So
Last of Us has the A team.
I agree, right? But like, I agree with Damiani what you're saying. Like, deviate if your team is good.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, you don't have a good team. Like, I don't think it even matters who you like, who how much involvement like the original creation team, the creative team has on it.
Yeah,
it's just that like the same thing. Like Uncharted. Like, yeah, I understand like. Veterans of the series, the video game series, might have gone and had some gripes with depictions of maybe like it sounds like Sully had some like issues with their characterization. But then you
check out our spoiler, man.
Then you see people who go into it who do not really follow the Uncharted games, have never really played them, and they come out and like say that I had a good time with this. This is good. So the balancing act of how much you need to appease like the existing fan base versus like there's a larger audience, and how many times going for the larger audience means. It's different, but it's a new path to success. Like, do you really just want a regurgitation, a one-to-one adaptation of a game?
No.
Sometimes it doesn't even work that way.
You know who's doing this perfectly? Shenmue.
There we go.
Perfectly doing exactly this, where it is speaking to the fans, but also like expediting, cutting things, maybe like taking this character away and like pumping this one up. And
you mean
like
they didn't spend 4 hours on Lucky Hit?
They, one major gripe, not a spoiler. They cut the forklift racing. That's such a huge part of Shenmue. They cut it. I don't know why they cut it. Maybe they're like saving it for later. I don't know.
They have forklifts, right? Because that's in the intro. Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know why they cut that, but again,
Chekhov's
like
forklift, dude.
yeah, but that balance, Damiani, I think you're onto something there for sure. Also, God of War, it's one of the most violent things ever made.
Yes, this is something I was wondering about.
If this is not hard R, like Kratos rips people in half every 5 seconds. Like this needs to be so bloody. And I would love, Isla, you're talking about the what was it? Get the skilled people there, the craftsmen.
Yeah. The A team.
The A team. Practical effects. I want
I
want good gore. I don't want this thing to feel just like so many superhero things now where it's just like they're on a soundstage, you know?
Yeah.
Like God of War is so big and epic in scope and scale, and it's bloody and messy. Lean into that.
Yeah.
It's funny how we're starting to see the like. You know how you had like a studio identity for a while, like various periods of film and TV history, you've got different studio identities that you can really kind of, going back to the beginning, but like we're really starting to get to where we can see the streaming studios' identities, right? Like this show coming from HBO is a very different show than coming from Cinemax, right? Like Cinemax is old God of War with like sex mini games.
It's Spartacus. It's Spartacus.
Right, it's Spartacus.
Yeah.
From HBO, it's like brooding, serious with also boobies. Amazon, it's like, are you gonna go PG-13? Like, what are you gonna? Yeah, like I'm not sure what to expect. And also, like, you're gonna spend $200 million, but it's still gonna look kind of cheap somehow. Like,
right.
It's gonna be like the color correction will be like too desaturated,
too
like,
dramatic.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride, man, if it happens.
But having showrunners from Expanse, if that part
Yo,
is true.
I love Expanse.
That gets me really hyped, and,
Like-
and that's encouraging, and it makes me hopeful.
We're
But, like-
currently watching that show right now at home.
Oh, Expanse. I'm
Yeah.
listening to the books. I'm on book
10,
3 now.
10,
Expanse,
10.
though, is crystallizes my point, Bloodworth. Like,
Yeah.
think about, like,
It looks phenomenal, but
well, think about Yellow Jackets or think about Mare of Easttown, right? Like, those look like movies. The Expanse looks like TV. It looks like a Sci-Fi Channel TV show from 2000.
it was always hanging on for dear life, Isla.
Right,
They were
right.
hanging on.
I love The Expanse. I love The Expanse. But it's a TV show, whereas, like, HBO stuff has, like, the very cinematic vibe. And, like, where will this land? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
The point, though, as I'm
Yeah.
saying, is that Expanse doesn't shy away from gore.
true.
Yeah.
And
There's
then
some crazy stuff in
Good
there.
call.
yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if you're onto the Amazon seasons yet and off the sci-fi seasons, but they dial up the swearing quite a lot too.
Okay.
Which is true to the book. Like
Yeah.
Avasarala like says fuck like every 2 seconds. But like, yeah. I don't know. Amazon.
I'm intrigued. I can't wait to just see what Kratos were coming in with, you know?
Do you think they'll have like Christopher Judge? That's why I forgot to switch
Yeah.
cameras to you
Ooh,
while you were
yeah.
talking. I was trying to figure out how old he was. He's like 58.
Oh, sure.
Like if they're doing old Kratos, I would love to just have Christopher. Like he's 6'2", he's
Yeah,
big, you know. Like
yes.
just he was in Stargate.
Hell
you know,
yeah.
like he's a beefy guy. He could just do it.
I feel like if it was the original games, like ancient Greece,
You need a younger guy for that.
Yeah.
yeah.
but then your flashbacks from a narrative
Yellow
point,
Jackets, it dude.
from
Do both.
Well, from a flashback perspective, then you could get into Ghost of Sparta, his brother when he's younger and stuff.
Yeah.
So you could lean into that emotional stuff, and that'd be good for people who aren't fully invested with God of War and Kratos. It's like getting that family drama in there is always good for narratives.
Well, when you're talking about Sparta and stuff, like a lot of that, I mean, those are prequels, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking, I mean, really, a lot of it depends on like how long they want the series to go, right?
Yeah.
You know, because like when you put your chips down on like a 9-book series, right? It feels sort of like God of War could be that, right? There's so many games that they want this thing to last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And then just go through all of it. So I think they probably could start with the younger Kratos, but some of those prequel stories that may not have as much meat to them, like still be flashbacks, but you're still starting in Greece. I think starting in Greece is probably where it's gonna be. Otherwise, they're just gonna catch up and like, well, now what do we do?
Because like
Right.
you need the MCU season finale post credits tease of Vikings. Like it sets itself up. You see the axe or something.
Well, and they could fill in some of the gaps, yeah, like when he has the kid and stuff. I don't know.
There's a comic book that
Oh, yeah?
kind of bridges the gap. It's really cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because we'd never see the mother of whatever his name is. I want to say Artax, but that's the horse from Neverending Story.
Which has
Or
not
whatever.
been pulled back yet. Don't.
Artax! Artax!
It's devastating.
You're dying, Artax!
Devastation.
The dark film.
It is.
Also this week, GTA 5 and GTA Online pricing was announced.
Honestly, cheaper than I thought. Honestly, I'm surprised by this.
As always, Rockstar has to do its own thing. Okay,
I thought it was going to be $60 up
There's
front.
no-
It's
but
confusing.
There's no free upgrade path. There's no upgrade path at all. It's going to be discounted for 3 months. So PlayStation gets a 75% discount. Xbox gets a 50% discount.
That's so weird. That's so weird.
So the full package for the first 3 months is going to be $10 on
$10.
PS5 and $19.99 on Xbox. And then it's going to go up to $40. And then GTA Online only, that little version, is going to be free on PS5 for the first 3 months and $10 on Xbox. Then it's going to go up to $20.
That's weird.
I called them out on Huber syndrome, and I will call them out again. Anything less than a flawless remaster is inexcusable after the definitive trilogy situation and no free upgrade path. This thing, Rockstar, better be flawless. Everyone is watching you right now.
Super Nintendo World is opening at Universal Hollywood in 2023.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah, what's the word, Damiani?
Yo, Mario.
Are you day one?
That's the word.
Are you day one?
It's Mario Day. It's Mario Day. Yeah. Apparently, like a merch thing for its opening soon too. So we could buy exclusive stuff. You know, hoping once that gets set up, we get like a Nintendo store out here. There's been rumors about a West Coast one, so we don't have to go all the way to New York for that exclusive merch over there.
Yeah.
Be nice to have one out here in the West Coast.
Are you and Isla? I know you love theme parks. Are you all like a day one brave the crowds,
Oh my
or is
gosh.
this like
Can't
a
even
I'll
imagine
see
day
you
one.
in 2024?
We're gonna, I'm gonna try to get us in on the influencer.
Yeah, we gotta like,
gal, like,
okay, you don't send us early, you don't send us codes, Nintendo, but could we get in
Go through
early? Yeah.
Universal. Maybe Don. Don, do you like? You know a guy? Yeah.
You know, like,
Oh, guy on? You know what a guy?
He knows a janitor that'll leave a door propped open.
okay,
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to stick
COVID is-
gum on a door to like keep it open.
I don't think that would work. You gotta stick gum to a credit card. COVID has kind of knocked the crowds out of me. I don't know.
It's a year away at least.
Yeah.
Ikumi Nakamura has revealed the name of her new studio, Unseen, really leaning into that remote focus. She wants to have developers from all around the world.
Super ambitious.
involved.
She's talking
Yeah.
about like multimedia franchises, like anime movies, and it's like, wow, ambitious.
Oh, this is
Manime.
the spooky lady.
Yeah.
Love her.
I, You know, whenever you hear stuff like this is like when the coalition announcement and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is 5 years down the line. Like,
Oh, yeah. We're not going to see her
Yeah.
for a while, yeah.
yeah.
But she did talk about, like, you know, just leaning into her interests, you know, sci-fi,
Super cool.
horror, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Good for her.
Gotham Knights set its release date for October 25th. Put a pin on the wall.
Gonna be such a good Halloween game. Are you kidding me? These
Oh, yeah,
Arkham
Court of
games.
Owls. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's about as late as you want to go for a Halloween game. You want to get there
Yep.
right before. Lawn mowing simulator is getting Dino Safari DLC.
Dinos are in. Dinos are so
Dinosaurs.
in.
Don was upset that there weren't. What was it? Hedges.
Oh yeah, some topiary and
He was upset there were no
No
topiary.
topiaries.
Hedges.
Yeah.
He's very upset about this. He's very upset.
That is a great-
What'd you drop?
That's
He
a great
dropped his
criticism.
phone. He's rattled.
That is such a valid criticism, Don. I love it.
F-Zero X is out on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack this week. So probably one of my most played racing games.
There you go.
It unfortunately so far does not have the expansion pack, the 64 disc drive content.
Harsh.
So,
Here's a question.
Yeah.
If F-Zero GX is 10 out of 10 Bloodworth, what is F-Zero X? what is the N64 one?
I mean, it's definitely like 9 or 9.5. Like,
Okay, so it's top
interesting
tier,
because
yeah.
like they very rightly prioritize frame rate, right? So it's like 60 frames per second. You know, 1,000 kilometers per hour.
N64, 60 frames.
30 cars on the track.
So high.
Yeah.
But then it's like you see the track drawing in as you get to it. Like everything is extremely simple. You know, cars are made out of maybe, I don't know, 10 or 20 polygons.
It's all about that frame rate.
But you got that death race, Huber.
What?
You know about that death race? It's just a loop. You're just going until you knock everybody else off.
Oh my
Like,
god,
so
I
it was-
remember this. Yeah, I remember dying so much in F-Zero. Holy crap. Death is real in those games.
Yeah. And they also have the X Cup. If you unlock it, it's randomizer. It creates tracks every time. You never,
What?
yeah, get the exact same track twice.
Holy crap. Sick.
So
So that's out.
yeah, it'll be out by the time everyone hears this. Yep,
Sick.
March 11th, I think is the date. Glover's getting a completely redone Steam port in April.
Oh man.
Check out Trash Babies to
Trash
see what that N64 game
Babies!
was.
What a novelty. Wow.
Dang. Do we need to do we should do like a Trash Babies like retread or
Yes.
something like recycled. Trash Babies recycled.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell
Check
yeah.
out the new version of Glover, dude. We get Brad in there again. Ah.
One of my most
We're
decided video
doing
games of all
that.
time. My mom's friend's son, was younger than me at the time and was, knew
I
I
bet
played a
he's
lot of
younger
video
than you
games.
still.
Yeah, knew I played a lot of video games and was like, please help me with this. And like we tried as kids to
Glover?
get. Yeah.
Brad was doing
Dude,
okay. Brad was
do
doing
it.
okay.
Just okay though, and that's Brad.
Yeah.
Like he's a savant.
Game's brutal.
Yeah, to see Trash Babies episodes, go to easyls.com and click on that exclusives tab.
Yeah, Patreon baby.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp indefinitely delayed due to the war in Ukraine. And also, Microsoft, Nintendo, PlayStation, and many others have suspended sales in Russia. And many companies have also offered humanitarian support to Ukraine. And our thoughts, again, go out to
Big time.
the Woj, Zach and Jason Wojnar, as they're dealing with that situation. And everyone else that's there in Ukraine, if you happen to be listening,
Or know anyone there.
our hearts out to you, yeah. Let's play a game.
Ah! There you go. You got me that time. I wasn't looking at the rundown.
Yeah, it was on the next page, wasn't it? Yep. RF Switch with more word association.
Oh, no.
Nice.
Greetings, allies. You seem to all enjoy the word association thing I did for Q&A, so let's do it with more options. I'm going to list 10 words. Just say the first game that pops in your head without explanation. Don't worry, I'm not psychologically profiling you.
Please do, dude.
Also,
Yeah.
multiples of the same answer is fine. It's your word association after all.
Like, ever since Silent Hill Shattered Memories, I've been wanting to be, like, legitimately psychologically profiled and psychologically tortured by a horror game.
Yo, you ever watch Mindhunter? 10 out of 10.
Never, no, I never did.
Super
I watched
good.
Hannibal.
Also 10 out of 10.
All right, here we go. Fire.
Emblem.
Firewatch.
Fire Emblem.
Pokemon.
Dark Souls.
What? Blood's a real one.
Cooking.
Mama.
Mama.
Cookie Clicker.
Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, that's your. I thought that was the next word. I was
Oh,
like,
no,
that's
no.
just a game.
Cloud.
Strife.
Final Fantasy
7.
7.
Final Fantasy 7 too, yeah.
Yep.
Technology.
Final Fantasy 7 again.
Deus
SimCity.
Ex.
Deus Ex. Yeah. Dog.
Oh,
Nintendogs.
Metal Gear
Metal
Solid.
Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
Nintendogs for me too. Silence.
Oh.
Journey.
Silent scope.
Whoa.
I don't know why I said Journey. There's a lot of
F-Zero.
sound there.
Oh yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5 again for quiet.
Oh, yeah.
Discover.
Journey.
Elden Ring.
Oh God, yeah.
Outer
Breath of the
Wilds.
Wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outer Wilds. I said.
Oh, Outer Wild. Oh, Blood's a real one.
Flying.
Pilot Wings.
I was going to say Pilot Wings. What the hell? That's so funny. That's so funny. I was like, going to say Pilot Wings.
Flight Simulator.
I was thinking Flight Simulator too. Hermit.
Elden Ring. Hermit's Shack.
Hermit.
Dark Souls 2 popped in my head. I don't know why.
Yo,
I
Blood's a
think it's going
real
to
one,
mine.
dude.
I don't know,
Kingdoms
like,
of
which
Amalur,
hermit.
I don't know.
Just that's the thing,
Hermit.
the name that came up.
Oh, yeah.
Zelda 2.
Shield.
Agents of
Pokemon.
Yeah, Breath, Sword
Shield?
and Shield. Yeah.
A shield. Dark Souls.
Hylian Shield. Zelda is the thing that
humans
came to
are
my
real.
mind. It's time for Love and Respect.
Oh.
Love and respect.
From Skylar Simonton. Hey, allies. What's your favorite silly super? Many genres, from fighters to RPGs, even some sports games, have some sort of over-the-top, extra powerful move that your character can use after building up some sort of point. Swear word ones are great, but I personally have a special place in my heart for those wacky ones
Badass. Was
that get
the
a
word.
laugh out of me.
Badass.
For example, in Monster Hunter Stories 2, if you use the Aptonoth, a large cow-like dinosaur, their super has your character riding valiantly into battle, only for the monster to slip on a banana peel, sending them flying into the enemy, doing a ton of damage and stunning both monsters involved. A truly majestic sight indeed. So silly supers, summons, fighting
Heat
game
actions.
specials.
Yakuza Heat actions.
Heat
10 out of 10.
actions,
The
yeah.
best. So many funny ones.
Frank West is super in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. when he does like the shopping cart and then like the photos and like the zombies in it and stuff. Yeah,
It's really funny.
And he takes like the club, like the weapons.
That's
and like
so good.
That one's pretty funny.
It's excellent.
It's so stupid.
Some of the KOF 15 ones are so sexual that they flip around to being silly.
All the friendships in Mortal Kombat, those are
Friendships
fun.
are great.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are super funny.
I was thinking Kirby with the pot, like getting everybody in the pot.
Yeah.
Bang, bang,
Yeah.
bang.
Yeah.
From Chase Brock. Hello, allies. Love and respect from Kansas. One of my favorite games to play on and off for the last many years has been Mario Kart 8. I was there day one for the Wii U release, and it has been a favorite of my circle of friends ever since. Although I never did upgrade to the deluxe Switch port, opting instead to always keep my Wii U accessible to plug in and play if it was time to cart. With the recent announcement of 48 more tracks coming exclusively to the Switch version, I realized it was finally time to put the Wii U to rest. With the Mario Day sale happening now, I finally pulled the trigger on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. When you all
Nice,
cover the
someone
March
even
NPDs and note that Mario Kart 8 still stands tall somehow, I'll be sitting with just a little bit of shame knowing I helped fuel that seeming immortal behemoth.
It's funny.
My question to you all is, has there been a time when you've pulled the trigger on a port even though you still have somewhat easy access to a different version?
Resident Evil 2, I've bought like 9 times.
Same with 4. I've bought
And 4.
I
And
think
any Resident
every
Evil game.
version of 4 I've purchased, I think.
Yeah, but what were the
Resident Evil.
circumstances? Yeah, for any of them.
Well, Resident Evil 2 I had on PlayStation, and then I got the N64 version, and then I got the Dreamcast version just because I played Dreamcast at the time. Then digital on PS3 because I was using my PS3 at the time. So like anytime it's available, I'm buying it.
I've purchased multiple versions of every Dark Souls. I have PlayStation versions of 1, 2, and 3, PC versions of 1, 2, and 3, Switch version of 1.
GameCube version of Resident Evil 2 as
wow.
well. It
Yeah.
was on GameCube.
Yeah, I have it.
Yep.
I'm going to buy Elden Ring for the Steam Deck next week.
I buy pretty much every version I can of any like Zelda release.
Yeah.
Oh,
In terms of
yeah.
like regional differences.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays it's not really that big of a difference, but back in the day, like getting like the Japanese, North American,
Right
and
or left-handed,
European
right?
versions.
Which one was that?
That's GameCube versus Wii of Twilight
That's
Princess.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
But like, yeah, just like regional stuff like that. The like Four Swords Adventures, like having content in the Japanese version that's not in any
Oh,
other version.
shit.
Like has a
Never
whole
knew that.
mode that's not even in the North American version, even though there was apparently in English at E3 at one point. But
Whoa.
never mind.
Cool.
There was one time not too long ago, Don brought in that like Capcom fighting stick thing,
Oh yeah.
and we played Puzzle Fighter on it. And I was getting so addicted to Puzzle Fighter, and I came home and like, all right, I want to play Puzzle Fighter, and I was like, wait, it's not on any current systems. What's wrong with you, Capcom?
Yeah.
And I have it on PS3, but I was like, I don't want to hook up the PS3
Yeah.
right now. I just want to play Puzzle Fighter. I don't want any delays.
Yeah.
And so
I don't want any delays.
the
Love it.
Xbox version was backwards compatible. So I was like, all right, there we go. Bought the Xbox version to play Puzzle Fighter and like did that all night long.
Heck yeah. Sick.
From Christopher McClung. Greetings, allies. I boarded the hype train, and I was a pre-order day one Elden Ring purchaser, and it's my first Soulsborne game.
Nice.
The sales-
Welcome.
Real
welcome.
We got a real story here, so buckle in.
I'm fully buckled.
The sales associate cashing me out said, "Congrats, I'm so excited to play it myself tonight." A close friend also texted, "Yeah, here's 10 out of 10. I really want to play it when you're done."
Nice.
I felt like I was almost 2 weeks later. I felt like I was victorious.
Take your time.
Words,
take your time.
words.
Take your time.
I
bro.
felt like I was victoriously welcomed into the cool gamer club with an immersive adventure optimistically ahead. Now, almost 2 weeks later, I'm roughly 12 hours in.
Uh-oh.
I've acquired Torrent and defeated a few bosses, both
Nice.
above and below ground.
Okay.
I've also leveled up and bought and sold many, many items. I continue to die, level up, then oddly enough, die some more.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm feeling the monotony of the grind.
Oh, no.
And dare I say, disinterest.
Oh, no.
I find myself wanting to get back into my cozy Resident Evil verse, God of War, Tsushima worlds again. Therefore, is it safe to say this game is just not for me? Or do you recommend I keep going, pushing my comforts and skills? Will the magic click soon, or should have happened already? Am I destined for eternal shunning for being that one guy who's more excited about Lego Star Wars and just not that into Soulsborne games? Thanks for the advice. Much love and respect.
It might not be for you, but everyone's point is different when the thing fully clicks. Like, it happened to me with Sifu. That moment where all of a sudden you're better. You're good at it. Not good, and it happened with StarCraft 2 back in the day, or Counter-Strike. Starting out Counter-Strike, and it's like, all right, I'm only going to buy the auto shotgun and try to get 1 kill. Then you get comfortable with that, and it's like, all right, now I'm going to try to get 2 kills. Okay, now I'm going to try to use a different gun. And it's like, you find yourself getting better. If you don't want to go through that, though, then this game is just probably not for you. Because it is very taxing and it is very exhausting. I've played all of these Souls games, and there are times when I was playing Elden Ring where I was mentally and physically exhausted and overwhelmed. I was telling Brad this, and Brad was like, really? Like, it's so cozy for me. But it's like, no, there's so much going on in this game. There's so much to miss, so much to dive into. Like, it's a very extreme, exhausting game. So if you're just not into that, there's absolutely no shame hanging it up.
I also think if you're not familiar with Soulsborne games, I was talking about this with friends, that the reputation of them being super hard is a disservice to newcomers, because they'll bash their head against a wall when really that's the game telling you you shouldn't be here yet. I was watching RT Game a video because Sophia was showing it to me, and he was doing it for the memes, but he started as the wretch and then got transporter trap to Caelid way over, where it's way too hard for a starting player, but then he just kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and he was doing it for the lulz. He's played Souls before, so he knew what he was doing, but it made me realize oh man, there are going to be people who this happens to, and maybe they forget they can fast travel and think they have to do this, or people who just bash their head against, you mentioned that you got torrent and leveled up, that
keep leveling up every level.
No, but that implies to me, because you said I'm 12 hours in and I've acquired torrent. You can get torrent after resting at 3 graces. You get torrent 6 minutes into the game. That to me implies maybe you've been trying to fight Magritte without being leveled up, because you get leveling at the same time as torrent. There's no need to bash your head against a wall over and over. If you're getting frustrated, go explore somewhere else. That's the beauty of these games, especially Elden Ring. So it's there's a good chance that it's just not for you, and that's totally chill. There's an equally good chance that since maybe you're not as familiar with the way these games are structured, is
there's probably a way easier zone.
There's probably a way easier zone you could be trying. There's a different thing you could be doing. You could just explore and have fun. Don't try to beat a boss for a while. This game rewards you. And if you've been leveling up, try some catacombs. They're probably not going to be as tough. There's so much you could do.
Yeah. Well, I think too that sometimes even just weapons or style or whatever.
Yeah, change your play style. Yeah, try magic. Yeah.
But there is a thing of wanting to get better at it, True. If you don't want to
if you don't want to, don't play it.
Yeah.
No shame. No shame.
Totally no shame.
You're a real one if you quit doing something you don't want to do.
Honestly.
That's the philosophical truth, baby.
Honestly.
All right, it's time for bets. This week's bet, Tunic is coming out next week, finally. We're going to start a new game. And you start without a weapon. You just wash up on a beach. Figure out why or whatever for later. I don't know. Maybe you won't. Then there's a lot of staircases to climb at the beginning of this game. So I'm going to go through, like a madman, I'm going to count the individual stairs. What is the minimum number of stairs you need to ascend before you pick up the sword? Not the stick, the sword.
You have to go out of your way to make sure you find the minimum.
Minimum.
Yeah.
So you have to go up that way, yeah.
I said
Huber.
I said just 44. That seems light. I'm sorry. 44 though.
Oh,
I'm hoping
interesting detail I did share with them. I saw a longer staircase that was about I guessed around 30 steps on that staircase.
Okay.
All right.
I'm the low.
Damiani,
333.
Holy shit.
333.
Holy crap.
Isla,
I said 62.
62.
I want us to have the high, so.
I think I'm actually in a good middle ground. I'm at 77.
Oh, no.
Dang it! We got the high and the low, though.
It's going to be 300.
Yeah,
Yeah, good luck, blood.
we'll find out. I'm probably going to record it and then use a mouse to count this.
Good idea.
Okay. Last week's bet, Chocobo GP came out today, the day that we're recording this podcast. We started a split screen series race and intentionally came in last.
Well, freaking Squall.
Tried to come in last. Yeah.
Squall taking the fall there.
Squall took a fall, fell behind us at the last second somehow.
Literally at the finish line. Very strange.
You can watch the recording of that at the end of this podcast after everything's done.
Get with it, Squall.
So we generally let the AI overtake us. Generally, we're trying not to use items to attack them. Out of the remaining 6 racers, where would Vivi place in the results? Brad bet 3, Huber bet 1, Isla bet 4, and I bet 2. And Vivi got 4th place. Isla wins.
Woo!
Bringing the scores to Massive Chubbs 3, Splish. And Melodorous Sea Lions 4.
Oh.
Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Patreon is the way that we are funded. That is how everything around here operates. That's how we buy trash bags. That's how we pay for the lights. That's how the cameras get in here when we need to replace things or fix things or just just pay the gas to get here. Huber's got a long drive.
Dude, $6 a gallon right now. You're killing me.
But yeah, so please, if you enjoy anything that we do, consider jumping in and chipping in at $1 or more. The $5 tier gets access to this podcast 2 days early. And then we also have the shout out tier at $250. People really helping us out. Mm-hmm. And our current shout outs are Caleb Togi Crawford, Elthanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Nick, Raymond Wheeler III, and Zadwan Dude. Shout out.
Shout out.
Isla, you won this week's bet. You get to promote any Easy Allies video you would like to promote. You get the final word on anything you disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped into your head. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign off.
What's a video to promote?
You're the one with the computer.
I don't know. Watch Trash Babies. We got a Glover episode. We got all kinds of stuff. Check out Trash Babies. My final word is actually another recommendation. We've got Easy X coming up March 21st. It's a week-long stream, kind of just a party celebration of our anniversary. We're starting year 6, I think.
This is 6 years, so I guess we're starting year 7?
We're starting
Something like
year
that.
7?
No, we're starting 6.
We're starting
I
6.
think.
Wow. See, I don't know. We're not mathematicians, but we do make videos. And we're going to be streaming for a whole week, starting on the 21st. We have some fun. We'll be doing a fundraiser, too, with some silly incentives and stuff. It'll be a lot of fun. Please join us. Good night and good game.
Vivi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was that Vivi?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where'd you see him?
There's purple
Way
hat.
up there, yeah.
100%.
All right, so lean back. Yeah, sure. Yeah, 7th and 8th. That's where we want to be.
Just hanging back. We're going the whole way?
Do you see Vivi on the screen?
100%.
Oh yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I see the icon.
100%.
It's gonna be so funny if we get to the end of this race and it's not actually Vivi. But yeah, there it is. Okay, pretty sure. Squall, what are you doing? What did they do? Who's the Spyro-looking character?
I don't know, but I like the vibe of this game.
Yeah,
Like, I don't care. It's like big and chunky and colorful and fun.
right?
I just like looking at it. I don't know why, dude. I feel soothed.
Oh, I got my controls reversed.
I just got sucked into a black hole.
Oh, Vivi just passed me.
Getting lapped.
Show me this black hole. Those are crazy.
I'm in
Seems
eighth, we're good.
helpful.
Yeah, that one did.
Oh, I'm in 6th. Uh-oh.
Botched. Botched.
It works.
Squall just like fell back.
Yeah, Squall, dude. Sorry, Squall. Get with it, Squall.
Vivi is 4th though. That's what
Yeah,
we need to know.
count it. Count it.
Vivi's 4th.
Wouldn't have mattered if Squall was 6th or 8th.
I guess. Botched.
Not Squall.
That was Squall's fault. Whoever hit Squall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fourth. Got it.
I remember dying so much in F-Zero. Holy crap. Death is real in those games.
Yeah.